Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I am Anand Narsimhan. Unnerved by peace and vikas in the valley, a rattled, cash-strapped Pakistan continues to promote terrorism and disturb peace in Jammu and Kashmir. Three braves, Colonel Manpreet Singh, Major Ashish Dhonack and Deputy Superintendent of Jammu and Kashmir Police Humayun Bhatt were killed in action during the encounter with terrorists in the Kokarnag area of Jammu and Kashmir's Anantnag. The anti-terror operations are currently underway as the security forces have not only managed to corner them in the Pir Panjal range and that region, but somewhere there seems to be a determination कि इनको छोड़ेंगे नहीं. Meanwhile, intel sources via our group editor Manoj Gupta have revealed that CNN News 18 that the top leadership of the Lashkar-e-Taiba is actually behind this attack, and that they claim the lives of the three Indian Army personnel and of course the police personnel. Intel sources reveal that foreign terrorists are suspected to be involved with alleged support with locals. One of the wanted terrorists, Uzair Khan of the Lashkar, with a bounty of more than 10 lakhs on him, is one of those who's trapped. That's what reports suggest. They are in touch with top trainers like Sajid Jatt and Qasim, and the attack is carried out by a deadly group that specializes in ambush. A warlike hideout with weapons has also been busted. Now, with the latest terror attack, the spotlight is on areas of the Pir Panjal. In addition, in recent months, the areas south of the Pir Panjal range, such as Poonch, Rajouri and Jammu, have been the focus of counter-terror operations, and that's because it has dense forests and hilly terrain. So this is a shift in the modus operandi, and this is spread over about 4.3 square kilometers within the line of control and has many natural caves. Many people in this region many areas in this region don't even receive snowfall, which makes it easy for terrorists to hide and survive even away from civilization or population. So this is not the urban forests or the urban regions, this is within the rural areas in Jammu and Kashmir, in that Pir Panjal range, scantily populated, but still they are able to survive. Meanwhile, Army sources are revealing to News 18 that attacks and activities south of the Pir Panjal are considered as a change in plan of the terror groups. Now let's tell you why terrorists are choosing the Pir Panjal. Jungles are interconnected and the terrain is quite challenging, and terrorists carry out the attack and escape easily. The terrain is very typical, and even cordoning doesn't ensure complete block. Terrorists choose to stay in natural hideout or go and take the help of OGWs, overground workers or sympathizers. Army sources have also revealed to News 18 that they also choose houses based on the location and trying to threaten the residents in order to get shelter and threaten them with their life, asking them not to reveal anything. Now, those are not the only reasons. The Pir Panjal forests help terrorists to also survive longer as they avoid easy detection. Now, this is what Army sources are revealing. They are smart, proxy-based apps to communicate. Using offline apps to travel and communicate makes it difficult to trace them. They're not using phones. They're not using the World Wide Web at all. Terrorists are using body cams to upload edited videos and run their propaganda. They also have new means to procure cash. So we have all of these aspects coming through. Meanwhile, foreign terrorists are also believed to have local support in the area with sophisticated weapons and advanced training. CNN News 18 has actually accessed Pakistan's terror blueprint. Intel sources via our group editor Security Affairs Manoj Gupta revealed to CNN News 18 that Pakistan has shifted all its terror camps and launch pads near the LOC to increase infiltration in the area. These terror camps have recruits from the Lashkar, Jaish and also Hizbul. So they've all combined ranks. Look at this. This is the whole population, all of which this entire LOC area it's been populated. The question is, shouldn't we erase this LOC and push them back to those borders? That's a big question, ladies and gentlemen. According to intelligence inputs, all launch pads are directly managed by the Pakistan-based ISI, and they have trained terrorists who are waiting to infiltrate along the LOC. The route maps accessed by News 18 show infiltrators using multiple entry routes to avoid any incident of firing by the Indian security forces. It's been learned that the entry of terrorists to the LOC will be a bonus for the ISI. However, Pakistan has already transported almost 300 small weapons via drones and in and around Srinagar for this entire hybrid killing format. Also, intel sources decoding the terror camps in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Intel sources say there are 3 prominent clusters which are fully operational in POK, Manshera. Then you have Muzaffarabad, You have Gadi Habibullah, BOI, so these are the regions. Balakot, Gadi Habibullah. In Muzaffarabad, you have Chelabandi, Shaivanala, and also Abdullah bin Masood and Dulai. These are the regions in Muzaffarabad. 3 POK Brigade of the Pak Army is located in Kotli that coordinates the activities of Sensa, Kotli, Dubgi, Gulpur, and also Fagosh. And these are all acting as feeders to the launch pads. These active camps act as feeders to the launch pads. Camps are located in forward areas 2 to 3 kilometers from the LOC. They recruit youth from Pakistan's South Punjab province. They impart training mainly in arms and also fidain, suicide attacks. So that's where the youth are trained from the South Punjab provinces where they are got from. And also they get support from OGWs in J&K. OGWs are getting the weapons sent by Pak ISI via drones. So this is what we are getting, these details, and there is more information coming, ladies and gentlemen. Just now, we've got more news coming through via Manoj Gupta, our Group Editor, Security Affairs. Sources are revealing to CNN News 18 that officials in the security apparatus see a distinct pattern in the way terrorists are operating on both sides of the Pir Panjal, inflicting casualties. Earlier, terrorists were using cell phones which used to be traced by security agencies and were zeroed in, and now they don't use cell phones. They also keep changing their locations, which creates deviations in the intelligence inputs of the security agencies, which results in casualties of security personnel. The question that we are asking right now, ladies and gentlemen, amidst all of this, if we want everlasting peace in Jammu and Kashmir, is it time to erase that line which has become such a big problem? Push the enemy back behind the borders? That's the larger question. Even as we put out this information, I'm going to request our team to stay with the map graphics that we have, which outlines the LOC, the various areas, and of course the 3 big camps which act as feeder services. Let's go across to our guest straight away. Anand Ranganathan, author, Sushant Sareen, strategic affairs expert, senior fellow ORF, and we also have SP Wedji, former DGP J&K. Let's just go across to our guests. Anand Ranganathan and SP Wedji. SP Wedji, starting with you. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. SP Wedji, your thoughts. Do you believe it's high time that we do something comprehensive to erase that LOC? नहीं तो ये चलता रहेगा सर.
बिल्कुल आनंद जी, I completely agree with you. I think it's high time that we erase LOC and really teach Pakistan the lesson. And all these camps need to be blasted out. How long will you wear all this? Yesterday's incident in Anantnag, my experience tells me at times these sources, are compromised, and those who are investigating this particular case need to look into this aspect.
Yes.
At times you draw the leadership to the ambush, and that aspects need to be taken. And number 2, when cordon is laid to neutralize terrorists, it has to be a surprise element. If terrorists know that you are laying a cordon, they will never come in your trap. And I personally think that the information was available to terrorists of the route and the time of the forces moving in. That's why they have hit the leadership. And the very same unit was responsible for eliminating Burhan Bani.
19RR.
And 19RR. And another aspect which I want to highlight here is, I am seeing the pattern that how tactics are being changed. After Operation All Out was launched in 2017, when I was there, and General Sandhu was there, Corps Commander, they lost a lot of cadres in last 4-5 years. And I think at one point of time they were feeling even pinch of losing weapons, and thousands of their cadres were eliminated. And about 3 years back, how they changed the tactics to targeted killings, and then that was overcome. Now I was seeing the pattern of attacks in Rajouri Punch. You were showing on your screen how something like guerrilla warfare tactics is being adopted. And yesterday's incident, both even in Anantnag and Rajouri, Kukarnag and Rajouri, look at instead of these people getting cornered in, they have observed that whenever they are in an inhabited area, in a village, in a town, they have very little scope of escaping. Now, using guerrilla warfare, having a hideout in hilly area where caves are there, where dense forest is there, you have many places to hide. Draw the forces to your location and attack, do maximum casualty, damage whichever army group is coming.
Sir, if they are trying to use guerrilla warfare, we should become Godzilla, sir. They are right now at their weakest in terms of economically. इनके पास bread खरीदने के पैसे नहीं है, कहाँ जंगे लड़ेंगे? The point is that we should go and erase this line. This line, अगर ये आफत की जड़, सारी आफत की जड़, this LOC, let's just push them. Let's just get all of the Pir Panjal and push them back right up to the borders.
Honestly, I completely agree with you. I think the time has come. We must do that. And you see, there is many people were talking that Pakistan ka economy डूब गया, लोग मर रहे हैं, बुरी हालत है. There is no change of heart in the establishment. Establishment continues with the same policy of bleeding India by 1,000 cuts.
No. Sir, it's the establishment, sir, with due respect, if the establishment does not regret interrupting you, but if the establishment does not even consider their own people and think of them as cannon fodder, मरते हैं तो मरने दो, how are they going to change? They are not going to change. Point is, we need to change our approach, and clearly there is a movement within Pak-occupied Kashmir, Pak-occupied Jammu Kashmir right now, that they have had enough of their tyranny. वो वर्दी की दहशतगर्दी, they have also had enough. So perhaps this is the right time to move in, clean out the pests and retake what is ours. Anand Ranganathan, just bringing in, sir, just bringing in our other panelists. I'll circle back to you, sir. Anand Ranganathan, Sushant Sareen, namaste. Coming to you, sir, after this.
Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists. So there are clearly two great experts on the panel tonight, and whatever my views are, would be as a layman, as a common citizen of India. But first up, Anand, my congratulations to you for being named as one of the anchors to be boycotted by the Congress and the India Alliance. It proves that you are unbiased, fearless, and a fierce nationalist and love India. And that is why you are hated by the India Alliance. You should be happy at this development. Another group that should be happy is the motley bunch of India Alliance spokespersons who must be collectively dancing in the aisles tonight at this boycott, because now they have been spared being humiliated, embarrassed and shamed daily for their illogic and senseless opinions. But coming to the point at hand, first of all, my very sincere condolences to the families of the bereaved. It is absolutely devastating to see 4 of our bravest Jawans succumb to the evil designs of Pakistan. Now, Pakistan is rattled, especially after the abrogation of Article 370 and the drastic reduction in terror activities in Kashmir. It has been itching to foment trouble again and return to its nefarious means, unconcerned, as Mr. Vaid talked about, his own perilous economic and social situation. This is exactly what rogue nations do. But here, if I can put in my layman's perspective, Anand, I don't think touching the LOC or obliterating it would help, in my opinion, because after all, it's a de facto border. And let us remember that when we bombed Balakot, it is about 70 kilometers away from the LOC, deep inside Pakistan. So LOC was immaterial. Plus, Pakistan has fomented terror activities even without crossing the LOC, the infamous one being 2611 when they came through the other side. Yeah. And you have Dawood Ibrahim. So they don't care about the LOC. What I like to spend the next couple of minutes, Anand, is talking about, as a layman, the psychology of Pakistan. That they don't care about their perilous economic situation. They don't care about the LOC or our border. It is ideological. And that is the reason. Unless we attack that ideology, I don't think we're going to get anywhere as far as Pakistan is concerned. Because, Anand, perhaps the only time I am prepared to believe in bad karma is when I see the kind of neighbor we have in Pakistan. कुछ तो गलत किया होगा हमने पिछले जन्म में जो हमें ऐसा neighbor मिला. The entire edifice of this nation is founded upon hatred for Hinduism and of India. Yeah. From Jinnah, the man who ate pork and drank alcohol, to Imran, the man who rubbed dal makhani on his chest to attract the female of the species, to the army puppets now. Pakistan has been run by scheming charlatans filled with supremacist notions of religious brotherhood and hatred for India. The hatred became acute when Pakistan broke into two of its own internal stress. A nation that was based on religion could not keep itself together to even celebrate its silver jubilee. What more proof does one need that Pakistan is a rogue terror state when its sitting cabinet minister says on the floor of its cave that, and I quote him, "Our big success in Pulwama is the success of Imran Khan's Pakistan. It is your success, it is our success," unquote. The rampant killing of Baluchs, of Kashmiris in POK, the hounding and murder of thousands of Ahmadiyas, the bombing and killing of Shias and Sufis. Pakistan is a case study, Anand, on how not to run a nation. And as for its indifference bordering on collusion, we all know how Pakistan hasn't squeaked as much as a faint murmur on the internment of concentration camps of more than 1 million Uyghur Muslims by China.
True.
Leave aside 4 wars or Mumbai blast or 26/11 or Pulwama or Dawood or Hafiz. Remember their death by 1,000 cut preamble? Remember how they abducted and injured our envoy back in 2013? Remember how they orchestrated the 2008 attack on our embassy in Kabul? Remember when Imran said, and I quote, "The Pakistani army and ISI trained Al-Qaeda to fight in Afghanistan"? There were always links between Pakistan and them. There had to be, because they trained them, end quote. When was the last time, Anand, you heard a prime minister of a country declaring that its country trains terrorists? These are special people and they need special treatment. We need to give them a lesson again, because a lesson not given is a lesson not learned.
Not learnt, and we will tend to get, we'll be at the wrong end of the stick all times. We don't need to lose our braves who have already committed their lives to our country when the moment they don the uniform. To vermins and cretins like this. That's the big problem. This is not even an open conflict. They don't even have the courage to fight an open fight. Let's give it to them in such a way that they don't dare ever come this way or look this way. Anyway, before I bring in Sushanti, we've just got more news coming through. Intel sources are revealing to News 18 that terror groups are using YSMS technology, which was used earlier in the deadly attack of 2016 and 2019. In a recently convened meeting in the top security group, use of YSMS was discussed and found the problem of tracing terrorists due to no digital footprint, due to very, very high frequency encrypted messages without data or any telecom operator. This meeting discussed how terrorists are using phones without SIM cards. Terrorist phones are paired to radio sets through Bluetooth to send messages, location for help, to other device in case of any other emergency. So they're not even using, they're using high-tech gadgets. They were using night vision glasses that have been procured along with other equipment which has been procured from China. These are all Chinese make, Sushant Sareen. So if they are getting high-tech, what are our drones doing? What are our weaponized counter mechanisms doing? Why aren't we doing helicopter sorties and, wiping them out from air?
Another couple of things. Number one, I think it's the nature of the fight. The terrorist always tends to stay a step ahead of the security forces. They adapt much faster. They adapt much quicker. They take to new technologies much faster. And the way state structures are built, it takes some time to catch up. Mr. Vaid is out here. I can't. He would probably bear me out. When this whole thing started in Kashmir, way back in the early 90s, you remember what our police forces and even our army was equipped with. The army used to carry these huge backpack, communication systems, and these terrorists were carrying these latest walkie-talkies and talking to each other. Similarly, on the kind of weapon systems that the police had, they were carrying 303s. It was not even a competition.
Right.
And then, we pick up, we learn. Again, the terrorists change their tactics very fast. Mr. Vaid was talking about the new tactics which they are adopting. Actually, these are not really new. These are also old tactics which they've used in the past. And to the credit of the Jammu and Kashmir police and the army and the BSF, of course, the security forces adapt to these new tactics and then counter them and wipe these guys out. It's a matter of time, probably a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, but that will happen. So these tactics work up to a point, not more than that. So strategically, I would agree with both Mr. Vaid and Anand. Look, it's very, very clear to me, the hatred for the Hindu in Pakistan is far, far, far greater than their love for Islam.
Right.
It's as simple as that. And until and unless, our people, including in your news channels, who say Afridi Bhai and this Bhai and that Bhai, understand the reality of the beast, we'll keep repeating the same mistakes.
Right.
You also have to understand and also reconcile to a couple of things.
Ji.
This is an endless war, Anand. You can go up to the LOC, you can wipe out the LOC. That doesn't solve matter. I keep giving the example of Israel. Israel has used overwhelming force, and they've been fairly effective in containing terrorism. But has terrorism ended in Israel? It hasn't. Again, it's the nature of the beast you are fighting. Unless you completely say that I'm going to eliminate each and every person across the border, which is not, feasible, practical, doable, whatever you want to call it, you have to learn to live with this. And then what this means is that you will have to keep mowing the grass. You will have to keep decapitating those people. You have to kill as many of them as you can. And at the same time, you should show the will of your country to not back down, to not talk to terrorists. I am not very confident about how the government in India will operate 6 months, 1 year, 2 years from now. Will we say that, oh, Pakistan is in deep trouble, let us go and help? A lot of people keep talking about it. Will we say that, okay, fine, let's start trade so that we can normalize things? Are we going to do that, or are we going to say, no, we are going to keep badgering you guys.
Yes.
We are going to beating you guys. We are keep eliminating you guys. We will show the will of this country as we have over the last 30 years. Today, the situation in Kashmir is at least 1,000,000 times better than what it was in the early 90s.
Correct.
Again, I'm sure Mr. Vaid will bear me out. It is because the government and the state of India and the people of India have shown that will, that we will not succumb to these cowards and these terrorists. We will fight them. We will fight them to the end. A lot of our brave people have given the supreme sacrifice, including the 4 people yesterday. And hats off to them and salute to their family and all commiserations to them. But this is a price we will have to pay for our freedom.
No, see, they are ready to pay that price, but should we not make the cost of trying to even attack India or cross over so dear? Push them across the borders. They are sitting inside our borders on an imaginary line which you have allowed them to draw.
Can I say one more? Very quickly, just 2 sentences more. You said something and it kind of slipped out of my talking points. Look, I am of the belief that this nonsense that the government of India has, that no, we must fight with one hand tied behind our back. I don't believe in this. If you have drones, you should use that. If you have helicopter gunships in this kind of a terrain, by all means use it.
Use that.
If you need to use fighter jets to bomb the hell out of these buggers, please do it.
Right.
Don't stand on ceremony. No, we will only use
Sushantji, please yield. I'm running over. Anand Ranganathan, before I come to you, SP Vaidji, quick comment and then Anand Ranganathan. Yeah.
See, Anand, the kind of neighbor we have where only hate for India and Hindus and Kafirs and Gazba-e-Hind and all that is. Look at the kind of radicalization. A player like Shoaib Akhtar, I was seeing his video talking that I wanted to knock off Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah.
Imagine a international cricketer talking like this. ऐसा country का क्या कर लोगे? I think India needs to be prepared for a long haul. You have to. This is a covert war, and we have to face it as a war.
हाँ, ऐसा कंट्री का नहीं करना सर, ऐसे माइंडसेट का हम कैसे हर लेवल पे टैकल करते हैं, दैट इज द इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट. ये हमारे यहाँ जो आशा जमकती है ना अमन की, दैट शुड नॉट हैपन. वेरी वेरी फास्ट इट कम्स थ्रू and we allow them to milk us out. That's the problem. Final word, Anand Ranganathan, quickly, sir. 30 seconds, yeah.
Very briefly, such wonderful comments by all 3 of you. But, one particular one actually struck a chord with me when Sushant ji said that, we are perpetually fighting the battle with one hand tied behind our back. Can I please ask both the experts about their opinion about the ace that we hold up our sleeve, which is the Indus Water Treaty? Can we use that as a bargaining measure?
Oh yes, of course we can. And I think there have been some moves which have been made in that. I think we are moving towards that. But Anand, you have to understand one thing. How do you use Indus waters as a bargaining chip? You have to develop the necessary structures which can then, stop the waters flowing. If you don't have those necessary structures, then how do you use it as a weapon? How do you weaponize?
Gentlemen,
and that is where we need to focus.
Yeah, so it's going to take far much more time to build those dams, and you'll have the enemy trying to derail those dams, and it'll actually cause more damage to us internally at this current point. First, we need to erase the line and push the enemy back beyond the borders. That's perhaps faster done today than it was ever before, and that's why this entire aspect. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. The twin encounters in Rajouri and Anantnag have perhaps been the most brutal encounters in 2023. A largely peaceful Jammu and Kashmir has seen instances of terror where lives have been lost, but the loss of 3 serving officers, 2 from the army, 1 from the Jammu and Kashmir police in Anantnag, and a rifleman in Rajouri hurt. It is a big loss. Every brave, when they don the uniform of any color or type, they commit their lives to the nation. They have already embraced the possibility of a supreme sacrifice. They wear that commitment with pride. Their loved ones also join in that commitment. As painful as losing a loved one is, the kith and kin know deep within their heart that they have signed up for it, and somewhere there is pride that their cherished one has done what few dare to do, ladies and gentlemen. Lay down everything for the motherland. This jazba must be saluted. No matter how much we hail our security personnel and their families, it will never be enough. But aren't these sacrifices supposed to be made in active combat, in a situation of open conflict? Here, we are losing our braves to red terror and dirty proxy war. We are losing them to cowards who creep in like vermin and act like cowards and scoot like rodents. This must stop. The enemy must be pushed back behind the borders. No other line must be allowed. If there is one, erase it. To strike when the enemy is down, when the challenger is necessary action. Hit them hard, make them pay, and ensure they never return. There is no room for empathy or compassion or for those who deserve none. Such is the nature of this enemy that even when they are down on their knees, groveling for mercy, they will have the temerity to throw mud into your eyes. It's not enough to put them down, they need to be ground to dust, such that they will never ever rise with the aim to bleed Bharat and its braves ever again. This is not a rush of emotion, ladies and gentlemen. This is a cold, calculated approach with an eye on the future. The dream of a Viksit, Shresth, Atmanirbhar Bharat can never be accomplished with snakes in the backyard ever ready to strike with venom. And I say backyard because they are in our borders. Erase the line, we say. Ask a soldier and there will be absolute clarity. Like General V.K. Singh. इनको सबक सिखाने के लिए इनको अलग थलग करना होगा is what he said. Ask the kin of a martyr and they will not only demand an eye for an eye, but they will also expect an assurance from the state that this menace, quote unquote, will be dealt with once and for all. While there is absolutely no doubt that all of us as Bharatiya feel their pain and join them in demanding these pests be exterminated, sadly and truly our Deshbhakti tends to end there. On TV news, the story moves on to the next headline, the general public moves on to the next viral story, and 2 days later, the tears, the pain are all forgotten till the next supreme sacrifice. For us, display of patriotism and chest thumping is jingoism, and it's all event-driven. We are not like the braves, those who wear the uniform with pride, with a sense of duty, day in and day out, non-stop for 24 hours, as they think about, all that they think about is their duty, their promise to the nation. We are not Deshbhaks like them. Rifleman Ravi's fiancée has decided to move in with her future in-laws and take care of them. They were supposed to be wed in December. Major Ashish's final journey will start from the house his family has not yet moved into, as they were waiting for his birthday next month on the 23rd so that they could move into their house. But wahan se unki final journey start hogi. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not passionate about our country as they are. We don't live their pain. We just momentarily share it and then move on. That is why we find all sorts of justification to engage with the enemy on all other fronts, especially the soft ones. Movies, music, sports, entertainment, talk shows, news shows, where we engage, entertain and even pay those who empathize with the enemy and the terrorists. We allow them to call it a struggle and let them off without extracting a stated condemnation. A famous musician from across the border is quoted as saying, "Kafir pasand nahi hai, kafiron ka paisa pasand hai." That is their attitude. They wear a veil of friendship, never forgetting their true stance. They are just looking to milk the cow eventually with the intent to bleed it with 1,000 cuts. When they win, it's victory. Victory of a faith they consider superior to our way of life. When they lose, it's just a game. The BCCI and its team have been subjected to a lot of ridicule and terse words on social media on the decision to play with Pakistan at the Cricket World Cup, especially after Rajouri and Anantnag. But come to think of it, the BCCI has walked the talk more than viewers and us, the media, have. BCCI has not played bilaterals with Pakistan. They have not played any multilateral fixture with Pak in Pakistan. They have ensured this even when Pakistan is the host or co-host. PCB is in penury and has bowed to every will of the BCCI with respect to CWC 2023. Beyond this, there are other compulsions of sponsorship, of viewership, of money. Who's the cause of all of this? Us. We the people, the viewers. And of course the media. We are the ones rushing for tickets, ready to pay a premium, cribbing that not all of the 1 lakh tickets are out for sale for the India-Pakistan game. We are the ones giving this top billing and building all the hype. We are the ones who in the nanosecond forget the tears and grab the popcorn. We are the ones who in a split second move from saluting the flag on a coffin to waving it in the stadium. We are the hypocrites, the momentary Deshbhakts. Unless we truly feel the pain and stand with those who make the supreme sacrifice through thick and thin, this charade will continue. Till we have at least one member from every house don the uniform in the service of Bharat, this event-led jingoism will continue, ladies and gentlemen. We are far from being patriots in the true sense until then. We're going to take a very short break here, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we'll have Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar join us from the US. Stay with us.
Tamil Nadu doesn't want any extra water. Tamil Nadu wants its share of water.
Politics still continues as far as a long-standing Kaveri water dispute is concerned. Let's also now bring in our colleague Purnima Murli, who is joining us on the broadcast. Purnima, look at the voices that are coming in as far as Karnataka government is concerned. They're only upping the ante. They're saying we have no more water to share. We're now going to take a look as far as the legal route is concerned. Possibly we'll have a delegation in the national capital as well. What is the response that's coming in from the Tamil Nadu government?
Well, the Tamil Nadu government also says that there's a case coming up on the 21st of September. They will, if needed, they will also take the legal route, but also says that they will wait for the Supreme Court case and also tells the farmers that they will try their best and ensure that that the farmers are not impacted in any way at all. That's the word that's coming in from Tamil Nadu government, even as the Karnataka government has upped the ante, but clearly the war of words is only going to escalate between the two states, considering that Tamil Nadu also is now exploring all the legal routes possible and waiting for the case in the Supreme Court. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out, but the next stage is going to be very crucial.
Purnima, unfortunately, we will have to leave that conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Let's now shift our focus to what's happening in Karnataka. The Karnataka government held an all-party meeting yesterday in Bengaluru as far as the Kaveri water issue is concerned. Now, this was an emergency meet that was held after the CWRC had directed the Karnataka government to release 5,000 cusacks of water from Kaveri River for the next 15 days. Chief Minister Sitaramayya has clearly stated that the state is not in a position to release water to the neighbouring state. The Chief Minister has even sought time from the Prime Minister to take an all-party delegation to the national capital to try and discuss the same issue. It was further unanimously decided that a dispute panel will be approached and a petition will be filed in the Apex Court on the matter. Chief Minister Sitaramayya has also written a letter to the Union Water Resource Minister seeking his intervention to review the CWRC's decision, while the state will decide on the release of the Kaveri water after discussion with legal experts. There's some reactions coming in from the Deputy Chief Minister, DK Shivkumar as well, who we're understanding will fly to the national capital to try and speak to the Union Minister of Water Resources and try and convey the situation.
We have taken a decision in the all-party meeting that will make an application before the Kaveri River Regulatory Committee again, stating that we have no water and explaining the actual position which is prevailing in Karnataka and also prevailing in Tamil Nadu. And also we have decided in the all-party meetings to approach the Supreme Court with a petition against the orders of the, recommendatory orders of the Kaveri Water Regulatory Committee. See, we don't have water actually. We will meet the legal team
in Delhi, sir,
in Delhi.
to convey the same message.
Yes, yes.
There is about 98 TMC of water should have been left. We have left only 37 TMC of water because there is no water. See, more than 130 years in this last August and September, such a worst situation had not arisen. That is a very serious drought we have been facing the last 2 months. I will place the fact before the committee. We have already instructed our legal team to just wait for our decision. We will discuss and we will take a call. I think Honorable Minister is in Rajasthan. I spoke to his office. I am going to meet him, explain the situation. We will place our stand before.
My stand is always for pro-Karnataka, and which I want to tell our Tamil Nadu government also that they must consider it. Think about the crores of people living in, Tamilians living in Bangalore and surrounding areas. So they will be also facing the drinking water problem. So I think good sense will prevail upon him, and he will not insist releasing water to the Tamil Nadu, and will leave water for drinking water for the Kannada people where Tamilians also there. So at least he will consider that.
Karnataka has to follow the law of the land. The law of the land is very clear. After 2018, the Kaveri Water Management body is constituted. It has given its verdict. If there is a problem, they have to go on appeal against the Supreme Court. And I am sure the Supreme Court will look in detail into Tamil Nadu's argument, because our farmers are suffering in the Delta region because the Kurvai cultivation has already started. So I am sure the Supreme Court will give a verdict that is supportive of Tamil Nadu's stand, because that is a natural justice also. Tamil Nadu doesn't want any extra water. Tamil Nadu wants its share of water.
Politics still continues as far as a long-standing Kaveri water dispute is concerned. Let's also now bring in our colleague Purnima Murli, who is joining us on the broadcast. Purnima, look at the voices that are coming in as far as Karnataka government is concerned. They're only upping the ante. They're saying we have no more water to share. We're now going to take a look as far as the legal route is concerned. Possibly we'll have a delegation.
Joining us now is Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. He is joining us from the US on the cusp of something which is historic and perhaps a never seen before. We will try and go across to him. He's busy getting set for the World Culture Festival, and this is historic. Pranam, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Namaste, sir. This is Anand Narsimhan here. Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
How are the preparations for the World Culture Festival going? This is historic, right at the National Hall, never before, Gurudev.
Yes. It's in the National Mall. It's going very well. There's a lot of enthusiasm in the people here, and people from around the globe are coming to Washington, D.C. Yes.
Is this bigger than what we have ever seen before? Could you tell us how many are participating? And I believe it's a who's who in the list of the coordination committee itself. That itself is a wonder list.
Yes, we have 64 dignitaries, leaders, present and past, heads of state of many countries are there, and thought leaders will be there. Yes, it's going to be a very big, historic one in Washington, D.C., yes.
And we're given to understand nearly 40,000 artists will be participating from across the world, Prabhu?
About 17,000. India, we had 36,000, but here the space is very limited. You can't have so many. And due to visa reasons, many cannot join from other parts of the world. But mostly people from here will be participating. Yeah.
Gurudev,
there is so much polarization now in here, and people are looking forward for this positive energy which can bring people together and also address mental health, environmental issues, and to come together in our ancient thought of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That's the scheme. Yeah.
But there are some who are questioning this very ancient wisdom itself closer home, Gurudev. Those who are saying they want to eradicate Sanatan Dharma.
These are it's not worth commenting on this. They are just saying if you remove Shiva from the Dravidian culture doesn't stand. Shiva, the Shaivism is part of Dravidian culture, and so also all the Tamil scriptures have sung so much about the four Vedas and the ancient system. And yes, caste system, if they say caste system should be done away with, yeah, of course. And for this, Arya Samaj has come up, and Swami Dayanand Saraswati has fought against it, and many saints and sadhus from time immemorial have been raising their voice against caste system. Janmana jayate shudra, karmana dvija uchyate. It's only through action all the varnashrama was done, not through. If you see that way, among the 1,000 rishis, so many are from downtrodden caste, backward and even Dalit. And so our main important two epics of India, Ramayana, Mahabharata, were contribution of Dalit. So we cannot say that Sanatan Dharma is only caste system. That is a wrong perception, and taking that as an excuse and beating up Sanatan Dharma is not the right thing to do. It's not right at all.
Why do you think it is happening then, Gurudev? Is this lost on those who are doing it, or do you believe there is an ulterior motive?
Ignorance, sheer ignorance. And I don't know, the motives only they should tell us. It's not going to be good for them even, because people are very deeply religious. Even around the world, even Tamil Nadu also, people are very deeply religious. Yeah.
And around the world, Gurudev, there is a larger acceptance for the ancient, Sanatan Pratha or Hinduism, the Hindu way of life. What is your feedback when people are seeing the successful hosting of the G20 and so much of our ancient civilizational ethos being reflected on various platforms, be it art, be it the handicrafts, be it the gifts, be it the representation of the Kala Chakra or Nalanda?
I mean, it's total stupidity to disown one's roots. And, our ancient culture is present throughout the globe. It's in Fiji, it's in Mauritius, it's in Suriname, so far here in the Central American continent, in Guyana, Suriname, Trinidad, Tobago. Even in Peru, when you go, you find Ganesha statues. South America, as far as South America, in the Mayan culture, you find roots to Sanatan Dharma. So, and people today, they appreciate, and the great movies here in Hollywood are made based on scriptures like Yoga Vasishta, the Inception and Matrix. They are all based on our ancient scripture. So, while scientists around the globe are appreciating the ancient culture, you cannot just root it out like that. If you go to the CERN Institute in Switzerland, where the quantum physics and quantum scientists are there, you find a big Nataraja statue right in front of CERN Institute.
Yes.
And people are respecting the ancient religion, because it brings liberty. It just takes one to a plane where you balance your inner life and outer life.
I know you have been in the thick of a lot of preparations for the World Culture Festival, and I'm sure you would have also seen the iconic moment for us, Chandrayaan, and that landing point also named Shiva and Shakti. And scientists wanted it named. The Prime Minister called for it, but the scientists approved it, sir. So science and spiritualism going hand in hand there.
Absolutely. You know, the G20 was such a big pride to the country, and the whole world is appreciating how the ambience of G20 and where we went, the Bharata Mandapam, and people are of great price to this, you know. For the first time, even those media which were not writing so good about India have started to appreciate the progress India has made. And India is, you know, unless you honor your roots and come out of the colonial slavish mindset, you cannot make a progress. I'm happy that India is really on the trajectory of progress and growth. You know, this need to be appreciated.
Increasingly,
and it is so refreshing. It's so wonderful to see that we are who we are, and we are presenting who we are authentically, not hiding. You know, on outside you appear very secular, inside you do all your practices, and that is that doesn't speak about a good statesmanship. You know, we have to exhibit, we have to take pride in our roots, in our culture, and at the same time, the very fabric of Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism, or even Dravidian culture is Emmadamu Sammadami. That means we accept all the streams of thought. Ano Badra Krataboyantu Vishwatobo. See, even Charvaka, who was an atheist, was also given honor in the Sanatan Dharma. Even Charvak, who said there is no God, and even in Vedas it is mentioned that people who say there is no God are also part of our society, our creation. So this is a dharma which honors everybody, which accommodates every stream of thought, and which is dynamic and progressive. Like every religion has some things that they have to improve or change or transformation has to happen in those fields. So Sanatan Dharma also, you know, has practices that need to be changed.
But Gurudev, that is reform.
There is a saying in English: don't throw the baby with the bath water. Yeah.
But what you're talking, Gurudev, is reform, and nobody has ever rejected reform or resisted reform, especially within the Sanatan Pratha. But larger conversation is that this way of life is fascist, this way of life is an imposition, this way of life is fundamentalist, and that's why Hindutva or Sanatan Dharma needs to be dismantled, it needs to be eradicated. Would you agree with such conversations, such statements, sir?
No. Nobody will agree. No sane person will agree on this stuff. Yeah. So there is terrorism. You can't say Islam should be eradicated because there is terrorism. I mean, Muslims are themselves against terrorism. So many people are raising their voice. And that it doesn't make much sense. You know, Spanish Inquisition happened. Christian faith was against scientists in Europe, in Spain. Nobody said we should eradicate Christianity. Right? Only said we have to think positively. So many scientists were prosecuted in Europe because Christianity is not in sync with science. Will anybody say it has to be eradicated? It doesn't make sense. Yes, reforms have been happening in almost all faiths around the world, and Hinduism is more open to reform. It was never shut its doors were never fanatic in our nature. And so we continue to be that way. And some statements here and there is not going to make any big difference. Yeah.
Gurudev, we are currently in a deeply polarized world. What is going to bring Samanvaya? How are nations, people, identities going to try and come together to work together? This Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, how is it going to be achieved?
The G20 has really showcased India's role and how our Prime Minister has conducted and our Foreign Minister has really brought all the forces together, and it is a big win for us. You know, while some people thought it's going to be a failure, we did succeed in coming up with a resolution. And India has this capacity, you know, we have that wisdom, we have that power, we have that culture of uniting people and seeing the world as one family. It's in our DNA, I would say. Yeah.
But do you see that growing respect for India, India's stature growing, because you have traversed the world, you have resolved so many conflicts, engaged with so many state leaders. Do you see that respect, stature of India, Bharat growing?
Of course, it is really growing, and it's grown. See, here in the World Culture Festival, we are bringing people from Israel, from Palestine, from Russia, Ukraine, from India and Pakistan and all other nations. Koreans are going to be part of the World Culture Festival. So, we have a platform here for everyone to come and feel the oneness of mankind and move forward. That is the way forward. You know, conflicts we have had, and it doesn't take us anywhere, and it doesn't do any good to anybody. So we have to come from the sense of cooperation and compassion and togetherness. Yeah.
Prime Minister, the President, slowly voices within the government, top leaders are slowly calling us more Bharat and less of India as a usage. Do you welcome it? There are allegations of a name change afoot. Are you worried about that, or you would believe that we are Bharat and we should call ourselves Bharat? Your position, Gurudev?
Yes. If Madras could be changed to Chennai and Bangalore can be changed to Bengaluru, Calcutta could be called as Kolkata, then why should we shy away from calling Bharat as Bharat, which has been there? You know, the word Bharat itself means where bright people are. The bright word in English comes from Bha. Bha means Bhati, that is bright. One who is engaged in brilliant work, or one who are brilliant, people of brilliance are Bharat. And we should be very proud of calling ourselves Bharat. Yeah.
Final question, Gurudev. Final two questions. One is what has happened just now over the last 24 hours. We are losing braves to terrorist attacks. On the one hand, we are talking about Samanvaya, everybody coming together. On the other hand, this conflict never seems to resolve itself. What's the answer? Should India now start, or should we start becoming aggressive? Should we use our Shakti to try and get peace, Shanti?
You need both. On one side, we need to be strong. If you are weak and talk about peace, it's not going to work. Talk of peace can happen when you are in a position of strength. You know, that has value. Yeah. Someone who is wealthy can renounce. Someone who is a beggar cannot say, I have renounced anything. So we must come from a point of strength. And for that, we have to be really prepared, you know. And then people will listen to the dialogue of peace also. The narrative of peace should come from the place of strength. Yeah.
Gurudev, my final question. What should one expect towards the end of this month, the 29th, 30th, the World Culture Festival? What would be your appeal to people?
Yeah, end of this month we are having this World Culture Fest for 29th, 30th and 1st of October. And let us again make life a celebration. There are contentious issues. They do keep popping up here and there. But let's not harbor that in our heart and have any type of hatred to anyone, ideologically or otherwise. So, unity among diversity is our strength, and let us make the world a better place for this and coming generation. So I would encourage everyone to participate, and in some way or other participate in helping our planet to be a better place, reduce violence. We want to see a violence-free and stress-free society.
Ji, Prabhu.
And a healthy body and a clear mind. For this, let's all work together, and it will be telecast and webcast throughout the world, and you can all see and enjoy the messages from world leaders as well as the performance of artists from around the globe.
We are looking forward to that. We are looking forward to that, Gurudev. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for speaking with us. Wish you all the very best to you and your team.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Ladies and gentlemen, quick update towards the back half as we dash towards the end of this edition of The Right Stand. The newly formed opposition bloc INDIA has decided to boycott 14 news anchors from English and Hindi platforms across the country. The decision was taken during the Alliance's Coordination Committee meet in Delhi. The opposition has decided not to send representatives to the shows of these respective news anchors. The opposition believes that a section of the media only mounted ruling BJP's narrative and stresses on communal polarizing, quote-unquote, while deflecting the issues of public interest. The National Union of Journalists have slammed the opposition and said that the step of opposition parties is the darkest chapter of repression on media in a democratic history of India. So this is what they have... So the journalist union taking the tweet, NUJ coming out. We also had Union Minister Anurag Thakur speak out against it, and his advisor Kanchan Gupta has also taken to social media to say that this is one of the darkest chapters, and it is brings us memories of the period of emergency. Let's quickly listen into what Anurag Thakur had to say.
रोज कहते हैं कांग्रेस और उनके सहयोगी दल के नेता सनातन धर्म को खत्म करके रहेंगे, हिंदुओं को अपमान करने की कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ते। अब तो इन्होंने पत्रकारों को भी बायकॉट भी करना शुरू कर दिया, मुकदमे भी दर्ज करने शुरू कर दिए। चाहे चेन्नई में देखो, चाहे बंगाल में देखो, छटपटाहट घबराहट में अब ये मुकदमे दर्ज कर रहे हैं और साथ में कहते हैं सनातन धर्म को खत्म करेंगे। अरे सुन लो राहुल गांधी, कान खोल के, हम सबके पूर्वज यहीं से ही हैं और तुम्हें याद करके कहना चाहता हूं, मुगल आए आकर चले गए। मुगलों ने भी सपना देखा था सनातन को खत्म करने का। मुगल आए आकर चले गए, अंग्रेज आए आकर चले गए, कांग्रेसी आए आकर चले जाएंगे। सनातन है, सनातन था और सनातन रहेगा मेरे भाई और बहनों।
Ladies and gentlemen, in a rather unfortunate development, TV media journalists have been named by a committee of 26 parties that call themselves the Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance. They are welcome to their decisions based on their own rationale and wisdom. However, what stands out is the contradiction in the claims and their action. Key leaders of this alliance claim that they are Mohabbat ki dukaan and they are tolerant and have only love for everybody. Is this love? Is this tolerance? Or is this a manifestation of pure hate? Many leaders in this alliance claim that this committee came together despite their contradictions, as they wanted to do away with a non-inclusive government under PM Narendra Modi. But are their actions inclusion? Many leaders in this alliance claim that the media, along with other institutions, have their freedom curbed under the leadership of PM Narendra Modi and this current government. In the recent past, which state government has resorted to punitive action against journalists, targeted them aggressively to curb their journalistic freedom? Aren't most of the leaders part of this formed alliance? The alliance also claimed that they are coming together in order to help restore respect for institutions, especially the media. Some of the top media houses have been indirectly targeted, perhaps with a signal to them asking them to toe the INDIA alliance line. Is this respect or utter contempt? Many of us today were born around the time or soon after the emergency. Seniors amongst the journalistic fraternity and amongst the viewers may be reminded of those days when democracy was in jail. Is this act not a residue of that very sentiment? By acting thus, has the alliance instilled confidence of being inclusive, non-partisan and tolerant, or proven to be quite the contrary? Is this not violative of the basic tenets enshrined in the Constitution of Bharat? Freedom of speech comes with the reasonable restrictions, but is this reasonable? And doesn't your freedom stop where my nose begins? Also, those who talk of inclusion, aren't they attempting to divide the media fraternity altogether? Isn't this a classic example of divide and rule that used to be practiced by our colonialists? If they have decided to avoid certain shows and anchors, they are well within their right, but to do so in the manner in which it's been done reeks of malified intent, not an earnest one. Sarva Vastuni Karnot Bhavani, everything happens for a reason. We'll leave it at that.
Good evening, this is Rastak Samzaka Jacob. 3 of our brave soldiers have been martyred in Anantnag in South Kashmir, which includes a major, a colonel and a deputy superintendent of the Jammu Kashmir police. Now, the question is, if peace had indeed returned to the valley, as the government claims it has, why are we then seeing attacks of this nature? This was an ambush reportedly based on wrong intelligence information. Why are we busy playing against the team of